Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. This video will be on YouTube for my YouTube viewers who haven't seen me last week. I was on vacation, so sorry about that, but you have to go on vacation once in a while. I hope you see this one today. If you like it, share it. Let's go. Let's start. We'll start with the dollar index, and I'll start with the daily so you can have a bigger view of what we're looking at. And we're in the bigger picture, nothing changed. In the small picture, there was money to make, right? There was a lot of money. My group was functioning effectively without me and making money. They had a wonderful week, and they, from what I understand, a very profitable week. So let's look at the chart in the bigger picture. And what you can see is these two lines are still there, and we're still within the lines. We broke the top, great. Now, two things you can look for. When you look at the picture this way, and it's still what we think it is, you can either take this to be the running flat. Remember, that was when I started the week before, not even last week, the week before. That was the running flat. We need to see whether we're going to break this top, come back with a sharp move down, and then go back up. Or this would be the running flat, which means there's a smaller one there. This is the bigger running flat. We break the top, we come back here, and then go there. So great, we have. From that stage, we've already finished this move, and it's kind of correcting upwards. Now, this little correction upwards doesn't mean anything as yet. We need to see whether it breaks the top and then go back down, or whether it just consolidates here and drop. That's all you need to know. It's going to consolidate there and drop, or it's going to go. So you can go to the 1 hour and look into that. And on the 1 hour, we had a move up. Every time you make a move or an impulse, if you want to put it that way, like this, for example, you want to see the level of consolidation in that impulse. Right? The depth of the consolidation in the impulse will tell you whether it's a continuation to the downside within the first move down, or whether we're going to continue to go up. Right now, it's looking like we could still go up, depending on what happens. Let me erase this, sorry. Depending on what happens here. If this comes deeper here, we're just going to make a flat and drop. If we stay with that consolidation at the top here, they're going to climb upwards. So we'll see which one happens today. If you're trading in the 1 hour and you're trading the dollar index, you should be in a buy simply by putting a line here in that consolidation and buying in the breakout. So you should be in a buy right now. If you're in a buy, you should put that to break even, especially as you come close to this top. As you come close to that top, you should get it to break even, because the question of whether it is going to go out or whether it's going to go back up is still open. It can go right back down from this point, or it can still go back up. We don't know what is going to happen to this consolidation in the areas yet. Whatever happens to that consolidation will depend on what is going to happen next. So we'll just have to wait and see. If you're either in the trade waiting or you're out of the trade waiting. You don't have a trade at this point. You can't buy it or sell it at this point. You could have bought it earlier. Now it's too late. Now, if you're going to buy it, you have to wait for another flag. If you're going to sell it, you'll have to wait for this to drop, make a flag, and then go for a sell. Drop, make a flag, and then go for the sell. Make a flag, and then go for the sell. So unless we get a flag, we're not going to go for the sell. For the buy, I think if you get a flag here, might be worth giving it a buy. It's a risky one, but might be worth it, because we're not sure how high it's going to go there, but it will be worth giving it back. So we'll wait and see. Silver, I think this was pretty easy, because last week I was always telling you, every one of these are going to be a single buy until it dropped. Well, it did drop, and if you were careful enough, you would have been selling it from the top here, from this sell, and there was another sell here. There was a flag here in the 1 hour. On the bigger picture, we're still going sideways. See, the big picture, we're still going sideways within these two. And like I said, it's either going to take off to the top from here, or it's going to go sideways, give you one retest of the low, and then go. It will still go back up, most likely, because I don't think we can say this is the last impulse up, and that was a correction down. So I'm taking all of this as being a correction. Although we broke the top, we're looking for possible running or expanding flat, which means if this drops beyond this point, we will just by name call it an expanding flat. It doesn't change the structure. We can still expect this to go back up. This really looks like a corrective structure. So I wouldn't be surprised if they drop lower. Can they actually pull back like this and still climb up? let's say, for example, pull back here, but still climb up like this all the way back to the top here. That is possible, the slow climb. It's possible. It's not very common, but it happens. Let's go into 1 hour and see what we look for. Well, if you're in a sell, like, if you sold from anywhere from the top there near the sell, you should get that to positive. If you sold this one here, put it to positive and keep it. I would not close the trade if I was in this trade here, right? If I was selling this here, which was where you should have sold it, I would just put it to break even and leave it. Because you're not really trading for this, you're trading for the drop. If this makes a flag here or consolidate here some more, that would be a sell setup. Right? If it reverses to go back up, which I doubt it will do, but if it reverses to go back up, then we would relook at this whole piece to see whether this could make. I don't think it is really a flat. I think this is more of an ABC structure for downside. For any buy setup, you would have to allow this to make a sharp move up here, make a flag, and then actually look for the buy. Only if this structure happened, then we'll be looking for a buy. This could probably be a deeper correction. But I think that might be mostly a move to the downside. So it's mostly you're looking for a sell setup rather than a buy. Even if you're going to get a buy, it's not going to be today. It's most likely going to be tomorrow. Because you'd have to have an impulse up. You'd have to have a correction that will take 8 to 10 hours, maybe 12 hours or more. So before you can get a trade, it's going to be tomorrow open Asian session. Well, I'm based in Moscow, just in case you want to know where my tomorrow is. I'm in Moscow right now. I'll be back in Dubai in October. So my tomorrow, which means Asian session, is about, 12 hours from now, something like that. Right, a little more than 12 hours from now. So it will take about that much time before you get a buy setup. By the way, if you're watching this channel for the first time, you might be totally confused of what I'm saying because, you can't really follow the language of what I'm explaining unless you know wave analysis. So I would advise you go watch some more of my videos, watch the educational one, especially the one that says what wave analysis is all about, and understand why sometimes you can have two directions. You can have a perspective for a buy and a perspective for a sell in a specific structure. Sometimes it's just only one direction. And that's what trading is about, understanding the possibilities that exist in front of you. I would show you one chart. It's actually not the Ripple chart. It's the ETH, the Ethereum chart, where I was actually following it for somebody who is totally fundamental trading. I just want that person to see that we can actually predict the direction of the charts. I hope the person is amazed with the predictions so far because they're all absolutely correct. And this has been going on for a couple months now. Yep, it's going to be close to almost a year since these predictions have been passed. No, I think about 6 months. 6 months, not a year, because that was 6 months since these predictions were being sent. So you should watch that. You don't have all of them, but I'll show you from where I start and where I should be. And this is someone who totally trades based on fundamentals. So if you don't understand what I'm doing, go watch more of the videos. Let's go. Gold. We started to go slow and we watched the bigger picture. And every time you see I put a line like that, you must know I'm expecting the possibility of it going down, especially since we were here. Remember what we said, the breaking of this stop is where we're going to confirm the upside totally. See that? Only if they break that up, reverse this, break that up, will confirm the total upside. That means we're going to go up. And that even means that we could have probably make a bigger flat here and still come back down, but mostly confirming the upside. We still haven't confirmed downside or upside. Is it? They just break out of this little one here. It doesn't mean we're totally dropping, right? We don't know that. This could just be a deeper correction and still go back up. So in the 1 hour, we need to confirm the upside. We're still in a downtrend. We're not confirming. It's just a move to the upside. Whether it's a corrective move or an impulsive move, we will know based on what happened in here. But at the moment, if you get sell setups, you should take them. Short-term upside, very short-term, this should go back up there, complete the flat, and then drop. So there's a short-term upside. If it goes higher to this level, expect it to come here and then go back up. I hope that didn't confuse you. Let me go through that again. Short-term, the first forecast I would, sorry, I was just telling my group before I started the recording for YouTube is that I caught a virus while I was on my vacation. It's nothing dangerous. It's not affecting me, except there's a slight cough that might come every now and then. You'll have to excuse that. I had some fever, but that is gone. By the way, that didn't spoil my vacation, in case you're wondering. I enjoyed it very much. So we're back there. This is the first forecast we look for. Come here, drop. What if it comes here, but still go up higher like this? Then all will happen is that it will come back here and upside totally, because this now, oh, I keep bringing back that piece. Let's go. Bring it here, bring it down. Or go higher, come back here, and then totally go up. Because this would become a flat. So how do you know whether it's going to come to this level and go down or there? You don't have to know that, because you're not trying to buy it. If you do buy it, as soon as it breaks that top, if you get a buy set up in here, let's say you get a small flag here that you would like to buy to break this top. Once it breaks that top, move it in the profit and see whether they get to this top. Because if it starts to come down back, you should be out of the trade and you should be looking for a sell setup, right? If it goes up to that top, great for you. Good for you, you make profit. Take off the profit because it's coming back here and then it will go again. You'll have another chance to sell it and another chance to buy it. Most likely it's downside. Euro, we broke out and it's dropping. Actually, then if you see that structure where they break out, remember just breaking out, and I think I've mentioned this a million times to everybody. These lines are irrelevant to the structure. They're literally just telling us when we're coming out of a structure, when we're still in the structure. You have to come out of the structure, you have to consolidate and then take off. That confirms the upside, not the breakout. So if they come out and come right back in, that's okay. You just have to figure out what pattern you're looking at. And I think if it continues to go down, we would look at that as a running flat, which means this would come back to retest the low, right? If we see that structure. I'll still put it here because that's where it needs to be until it breaks the low. So we're going to go with this. There's a sell setup here. I think everybody saw that. There was a sell setup here. And if this keeps falling, any flag it make would become a sell setup until you break this low. When you break that low, that's when you decide how low it can go before it goes right back up. At how low would that go before? Because this is not going to continue to fall all the way. That means we're going to say that this was all the correction. And I think that's unlikely that that's all the correction, because this is the biggest flat in the middle. It's going to break the low and go right back up. So if it does go break the low, it's going to go right back up. If not, they'll consolidate here and go back up. Most likely it's downside. Look for sell setups. Wait for another flag, sell. Bang. Same thing, they actually drop here. They went that we didn't break the top. So that means we might be looking at a flat forming there. If it doesn't break the top, then it's looking for a possible flat here and then more sideways movement, which means we're still in this sideways. We're still in this sideways here. So the chances are you could come back here, you could stay here for a while and then go back up there, which means you're going to come here, go back there, and then probably come down. We're just going to be going sideways if you're not breaking the tops or the bottoms. So this is mostly sideways. If you get a flag, you can take a short-term trade coming back to this level. Right? If not, if they just consolidate here, it's probably going to do this and continue to go. You'll get a running flat somewhere in the future. So you can either get the buy or the sell setup. Right now, you're getting a sell setup, short-term sell setup. You have a flag here for a short-term sell setup. Come on. So you're getting a flag for a short-term sell setup. That is quite active right now. As we're talking, that's a quite active trade. It's just broke out. Aussie. Just in case you wonder why I'm going to the higher time frame, I haven't seen the charts for a week, so I need to reorient myself as to where we are in the higher time frame. And then that would probably help me to figure out the correct patterns in the lower time frame as well. Okay, I still think we'll go up some more. This was a sharp pullback, but if you look at this when they made this, we kind of did this. Sorry, guys. And I don't think this was all the correction. And I think we were looking for a running flat. So if we're going to make a very similar running flat, we'll have to make something similar to this. So we might end up with corrections in here, another move to the top and then drop. Now that's a forecast of a possible pattern that could happen. And that pattern is based on all of this that we have here. So we will go with that for now. And if there's a change, so far there's no other change in the structure, which means the sell setup here is not a great one. Right? If you took the sell setup here, you will have to get it to break even. It's a sell setup, but it's not the best sell setup, especially if I was looking at the bigger picture. So all you'll do is worst case is you get out for break even if it doesn't go. And it's not going for a number of hours already. By rule, you should be out of the trade. Right? By all rule that we have, we should be out of that trade. But if they reverse from here, it will definitely be a buy setup. If you get a reversal here with a flag, this would be a buy setup. If you want a sell setup, wait for another flag. Breaks the low, make another flag. That will be your sell. New Zealand, same here. You're getting a sell setup. We need to see whether this one is going to go very deep. It came back way back to the top. So let's see how far that could go. Actually, these two are almost equal in size. One is sharper than the other, but they're pretty much equal in size. I'm going to pick the highest spot. Yeah, they're pretty much equal in size. So they don't have to be equal in the nature of how they go, but in the size, that's more so. So the sell here might be worth it. That was a buy the week before. This was a buy here that we had the week before. Take that off. And we were looking for running flat here, I think, right? So if you're going to take this sell, and I think it's worth taking, take it with caution, because there's a good chance that it might be just making a flat here. Go make a new high and then drop. Right? We could be doing something like this, make a new high and then drop. So if you're going to take this trade, worst case is you're going to get break even out of it. If it drops all the way to the bottom, then that is the trade you're looking for. They can drop all the way to the bottom. Let me just explain that for those who might be worried. Is that we're thinking that this could be a running flat here. And we could drop still. There's many reasons for that. We're not going to go through all of that right now. So if this is the end of this last impulse, then it's going to drop. If it's not the end of the impulse, they're just going to come here and go back up and then come. So it's worth going for the sell. With caution, put it to break even. Once it drops and breaks the slow, put it to break even and see what happens to it. Swiss hasn't gone anywhere. It's still in the consolidation. And we're pretty much right where we were a couple of weeks back, because we're still in the consolidation. You still have this one, you still have this one, you still have this one, you still have this one. And we're trying to figure out this one here. So it hasn't gone anywhere in the 4 hour and the 1 hour. There are a few ups and downs. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Yeah. It's going up right now. I wouldn't really go for a buy. Not in this. All right, so let's wait. Let it make a pattern. Let it complete one pattern in the middle here and then go for the bigger impulse. Just leave it for now. Let one pattern in here complete. Let it break this stop, for example. I don't think this is the one that is going to go break the top. right? I think we did break this stop, but we didn't come back. We needed to come back and drop here. If this drops to that level, a sell here is a good idea. Because it's going to break this low and then we're going to go back up. We'll complete two patterns. We'll complete this one and we'll complete this one. Right? Now, if there is a series of contracting flats, this is where I left, I think was last week in our group, but not for the general public. If we go with a series of contracting flats, which is one contracting flat here, and another I think was 1, 2, 3, no, this flat, and a contracting flat in there. If we go with those two contracting flats, then this would just go break that top and then come back. So once it breaks this top and start to reverse, we can go for the sells. We can go for sells anytime between there. Without breaking those stops, selling is a little dangerous unless you're going to sell it at this level here, which means if they drop like that, then it becomes a sell. Buying is useless because you're not getting anywhere with the buys either. Yen, pretty much in the same position. This could have been a sell setup here for the yen. I think we put that last week when we were making a flag here, when we were kind of making this piece to see if they dropped through that bottom. It would be a sell. It actually went up, came back down, and it's going back up. So this sell setup was like 2 weeks old. Take that off. That should have been off already because we were trying to see whether this piece was going to fall. It went up. We're still sideways, pretty much like Swiss. We're still sideways. So we needed to complete this. Before we can decide on a downside or a continuation to the upside, we need to see what they're doing here. I think all of this will eventually become a big running flat. Probably go there, we come back here, go back up there, drop here, go to the top, come back and then go. Just completing a much bigger running flat. So this would be the B part of that running flat. Well, let's wait and see. I do think we have to come back down for this one. If we go up there, we have to come back down here. We still have to go back for this one. We still have to come down back for this one. We'll have to work our way up like this and then probably come here and go. We'd end up with something like this. I think we actually have a chart where this structure is an active structure right now. I'll have to figure out which one and I'll show you guys. If I can remember, that's a week ago, I think I saw that. Where we're actively making these patterns here like this. Maybe in a lower time frame, not on the 4 hour. But it's actively doing that right now. So you can do that in the 4 hour. Right now, there's a buy setup. It's already gone, but there's a buy setup here. Buying this flag to the upside to break this top. And then once it breaks the top, you can expect it to drop. Once we break the top, we can expect to come back down. Because we already broke this top. So this would be more like a 1, 2, 3, 4 running flat in the middle, a very complex running flat. And then we'll have to drop for this impulse downwards. So this piece is, if you're in the trade, good. If you're not in the trade, just let it happen and then look for the sell from the top coming down. CAD, you're getting a buy setup. You're getting a flag here. I'll let it go, see how far that goes. What is the big picture? Probably could go much higher. We could even break this top. So I'll probably go for the buy and let's see where that takes us. So buy setup. So all you have to be is caution with it when we break this top. When you break this top, you'd have to be careful. Aussie yen. The selling is already gone because we're already breaking the lows. So there's no sense to sell in the break of the low. If you wanted to sell, you had to sell earlier. Let this drop, make flags under the low, and then we will sell. If it is going to continue to go down more. There is no buy setup. The buy setup, if this is going to go up from this point, it will have to come here, make a flag, and then it will be a buy setup. So it's a consolidation downwards or a correction downwards, whichever you want to call it. Euro yen. We have the same thing here, and I do think we're going to go. We should go more upside to this level in the yen because we're trying to get to this stop. Trying to get to this level here, right? It didn't go from here as a sharp move. It actually went like that. So I still think we're heading that way. This was the buy setup here to go very sharp, but it didn't go very sharp. So it's actually going very slow. We'll get to this one. We need to break that up and then come back down. So if you get a buy setup here, it would be worth taking. Let's go on the 4 hour. No buy setup. On the 1 hour. No buy setup. Just leave it alone until you get a buy setup. Do we have a sell setup? No. New Zealand yen. It's in the 4 hour where we have. If we broke this top and reverse, let's make sure we break it. It's not broken, but you did tag it. So I don't think we're reversing this yet. We might be still in the correction. We might still be in a correction here. That is a bigger correction, which means they can come here and then go. Right, that very likely that would be a bigger correction as it stands. Let's go into 1 hour. Short term it's sell. Short term this is a sell setup, at least back to this level. So short term is a sell setup, and the bigger picture we're just going sideways. Canadian might be pretty much in the same position. Short-term sell, actually, you did go well. This broke through this here. It's dropping and you're having a sell setup. Let all of this decide to drop. This would be a sell setup on the 1 hour. If it breaks, go for it. That would be a sell setup if it breaks. If it goes back to the top, you still don't have a bias yet. At least not as yet in this picture. So short term is a seller. We just have to let it come back here, break out of this structure, make a flag, and then go for buy. So right now it could come back here and still drop. It's still a sell setup. Swiss yen. Take off that. That was 2 weeks old sell. This is just literally going sideways. We are sideways here. And it's getting even worse because this is becoming the biggest correction in it. This piece here. This has to go back up there, come back here, complete this one, repeat this here. So it's just going sideways. 1 hour, let's see if we have, you can go with any flag you get, and each one you'll have to take with caution. Because when you're in a sideways move, you're going to drop. Make short drops like this, and then you're going to make sharp reversals like that, right? See these sharp reversals? So this one, they're like this here, see? You're close to this, they drop, break that low. If we had a second flag there, break the low again, and then drop. So this could drop here, make a bigger one, drop, and then go back up. Just going sideways. Euros. Let's see what the big picture is. Consolidating might be the start of the downside. This is a pretty nice impulse. So if this consolidates here and go like this, we could be looking for downside. Let's go to the 1 hour. Yep, short term, you can get a buy setup, which is this piece here. If this breaks up, but it's not going to go very far. It will be part of a correction for downside. So if it does, if you do get the buy and you take it, you'll have to be very cautious with it and then ready for the sell. I don't think the sell is ready. We haven't broken this top. So there's no sell setup and this is yet. It's mostly a buy setup and then we'll go for the sell. You're in New Zealand. Okay, we can confirm the sell to the downside. We just need a correction here and that'd be perfect. Take that out. That was an old sell setup. You would have probably been in and out of that already. And there's a good chance that we could be making a big running flat for downside. Do we have a sell setup? No. Do we have a buy setup? No. But this could likely drop. So on the 1 hour, you don't have a buy or a sell setup. Just wait until one pops up. Most likely the sell is the one you're looking for, especially if this flag decides to break. If you end up with a flag here that decides to break, that would be a good trade. Eurocard. This one, you could have upped this one to this level and we can even take it higher. So we're expecting this to break down. Go to the 1 hour. Let's see if we have a better choice. Well, there were better choice. The first sell would have been this one. Second sell would have been this one. And we don't have a third sell. Not as yet. It's coming down, but you don't have a sell setup as yet. So let's wait to see. Euro Swiss. Definitely looking for the sell. Wait for this to go back up a little like this and then go for the sell. This would be the flat. So if you get a flat there, that would be a good sell setup. Because we broke out of this, we got a sharp impulse down. You're making a flat, that is downside. Downside means you're likely going to you're going to retest this low there. So the sell is a good idea. Okay. We're expecting the breakdown on the pound a little earlier. It did drop. I think we were looking for a running flat here when we had that, right? We were expecting it to make a running flat. That's what we have right now. Well, that running flat could have completed itself here, which makes this ABC. And this, if you get more consolidation here, downside. Let's see this. Let's go back up like this. Come back down and then we look for a sell. We'll have to probably come back here, go back up and then go down because this might turn out to be a flat of its own. So it's a consolidation here that'll take a while, but then downside. At least one more downside. Hong Yen, sell setup. Even if it's going up, we have a sell setup, right? So right now there's a sell setup in it. If you get this sell, watch it to just break this low and could still go back up or continue to go down. Right now, it looks like both are possible because we haven't broken this top. And we haven't broken that up. So we could either go break that up, then drop or drop right now. Vamos. This one is climbing up. Short time. So we'd have to wait for it to break this level before we look for any sells. There's no good sell setup, neither is any good buy setup in it. So just leave it for now. Uncat. Okay, we can look for the sell setup. I don't think we'll go test the top right now. Maybe still do. This is consolidating a lot and they did push up, so they might still push up to this level and then give us a sell. We need to break this top. So there might be a buy setup for that and then the drop. Let's see if we can get that buy setup. It's a very slow climb, but it can go. So you'll just need this to pull back a little and then go for it. So let it pull back, make a full consolidation, and then we look for the upside. If you're going to sell, it has to drop quite a lot, make a flag and then sell. On Swiss, you can move the sell up to this level. It's still a sell because we're still going sideways. Okay? We don't have any. I don't think we've completed it here, and we're trying to take off at this point. That is very corrective. So look for the sell setup. Move the sell into your high and look for the sell setup. Pound New Zealand. If this breaks through, we're definitely going for the sell. So once it breaks through, look for the sell. It does look like it can go up a little more, which is go to this level, complete the flat pattern, and then drop. That possibility exists. Let's go Aussie Swiss upside. And we broke out of the down structure already. We had this down structure that was on a bigger time frame. This entire piece going down. So that's an easy buy. Actually, it's a really good trade. That buy setup is really good. Aussie cat. We did gap to the upside, or that gap exists only in this one. And if it gapped, you have to wait. If we're going to continue to go down, it's going to reverse, make flags, and then we sell. We're going to continue to go up. This will become a flag here. And then buy. Aussie New Zealand, stay away from it. New Zealand Swiss buy setup. We broke out of the structure as well. So you're consolidating there. That's an absolute buy setup. I don't have this finish. And then look for the upside. So put an entry order. If you got tagged in the trade already and you exited, okay. If you didn't, once it go back there, exit, then put the re-enter above the top. New Zealand cat. So it's going upwards, but not very impulsive. See, we're going up, but it's not a very impulsive move. So you have to look for sell setups if they give you. I think right now you're getting a short-term sell setup here. That is a very short-term trade, but you can go with that. That might be the start of the downside. Cat Swiss. It's a buy setup, but we don't have a setup. It's a buy. The bigger picture is a buy. But we don't have a buy setup on it yet. So we just have to wait for some kind of a 1 hour flag afterwards that would help. So probably let it go up some more, make a flag, and then we look for that trade up. And this one, the Chinese one. Let's see if we're heading for the upside now. Not really. It's just making a flat here. So there might be more downside. Because you have one up here, very sharp. Got one down, you're getting one more up, and then look for sell setups. At least one more sell to break that low. So 40 minutes, and we only did the Forex part of it. We still have 2 more to go. Okay, well, I hope you guys have the patience. We're going to continue to go. Yeah. So this was a short drop. So this was a short drop. That was a sell. You sold it. You exit the trade because it didn't go anywhere. It comes back up here. It breaks out. Make a flag here. You buy. Now you have to move that to positive because it could still do this and still drop. We're still in the downtrend. Can it be the one that actually takes off to the upside? Could this be the one that actually does this? Yeah, you can go for a buy. So if you were in the trade in the sell or on the buy, you exit and you go for a new buy. That would be my plan. Exit the trade and go for it. If they break this top, it's a good sell. It's a good buy, sorry. If you break through that top, that's a good buy. If they drop lower, make flags would be a good sell. So it has to drop lower, make flags, and then you can go for this sell to downside. So it either drop like this, make a flag and sell, or it takes off. The buy is an easier one because you already have a consolidation in the top for the buy. Okay. I just managed to mute in time. Sorry for that. Let's go. USR. This would have been the sell if we had a running flat. And you should have sold here. I think by the time you get here or you get there, you exit that trade. It's not going anywhere. And they're consolidating. So do we exclude the running flat? Let's see. Go back to the 4 hour. Not as yet. I don't think we should exclude it, even if they make a new high. Excluding the running flat is a little early because it could still be one of those 3 waves in the C wave running flat where they have more waves there. So any reversal from here leaves you with a flat like this. If you get a flag here and you had a flag, that would be a buy. If you close it, look for another flag buy. Once they break that top, be careful. You just move your stop positive and leave it. Take this off. Every flag you get, you can take until they break out. I break out of this because we're not confirming that it's going to go up as yet. Still looks like it could be a running flat. And one more down. UKR. Pretty much the same thing. I think this one you can see it's easy. So it actually went like this. You're going up like this. I still think we might come back down for this one. And then go. A bigger flat here before you go. And the UKR in the bigger picture, same thing, whether we have that running flat or not. Whether we have this as a running flat. Or whether this is totally gonna go up. I don't see the total upside of it. So if you're in this buy, move it to break even. If you haven't bought it, don't buy here. Wait for it to break the tops and make flags. Gotcha, guys. Wait for a deeper correction, then go. Wait for this to be a bigger correction like this. And then go for the buy. It's breaking out, so it's a buy setup. US 30. We're still within these structures. Put it like that. And that means if they're going down, this could just be a flat that goes back up. Right? If we look at this as the flat, we never broke that top. See? So it's most likely we're making a flat here. We'll go back up. Come back, then we'll make a more complex pattern. And we're breaking this low already. So we can start to look for the upside. Next. Okay, remember I told you there's one chart already making that pattern. The DAX is the one you're looking at. You've got a move down, you've got a correction up, a move down, a move up, a move down. You're likely going to get a move up again. And could it be from this point? Yeah, possible. You could look at this breakout as the one that goes, or this will just come back here and then go. It wouldn't make a difference. you can still go for the buy. Put it to break even, take the break even trade, and then go, because this could be all, this could be a 1, a 2, and a 3, and we go right back up. S&P 500. Here is another one that has those pullbacks. Still upside. Breaking out of this and consolidating would be total downside. Was there a drop somewhere? Yeah, there was a lot of drop. A lot of sell setups. So could it go one more down? Well, if you want to go one more down, put an entry order for a sell here if they drop like this. That'd be a good sell. And especially if it breaks out of the structure. But what if it doesn't? Then you wait for this to go up. Make a flag and take that trade to the upside. It's most likely upside than downside. We're still in the uptrend, right? See, it's more likely upside. I think we spoke about that when we saw this, right? That they're gonna come here and do this, and then come down. They come here and they do this, and then come down. So yes, still one more up, I believe. Upside. This one is easier. It broke out. Question is how low we're gonna go. So we're expecting to sell. I think this was the only one that had a sell set up on it for a while, and it did break out. So if they break again, you can sell. If you see a breakthrough to the downside, that's a good. So we don't have a buy setup yet, even if it's going to be a buy. Nifty, flag buy, Tesla. Look for a sell. You get a flag, sell it. You get a flag here, sell this to the downside like this. Amazon. Wait for a setup. We don't have anything right now. And on the 1 hour, you don't have anything. This could be a small running flat. Put an entry order to buy here for one more move up. Just one more move up. If it goes. If it doesn't go, what you're going to have is it falling and then wait for the sell setup. Let it drop some more. Wait for a flag. You'll get flags and then you can go for the sell. Reliance. Both possibilities open. They can come to retest these lows, which means come back here, or just continue to go more up. The buy is not a bad idea, but the sell is a better idea. So if you get a flag here again, you miss the first flag. So if you get a second flag here, you go for the sell. But if this goes back up sharp without making consolidation go back up sharp, you can go for the buy here. See? So it's either they consolidate now and give you a sell or reverse immediately give you a buy. So the buy is a faster trade to come. Pip all sideways. Look for more downside, but it's sideways. And BAJ Finance. That definitely looks like a buy. Bitcoin. Let me go back to the big picture and show you. Take all of that out. You've got a sharp move down. You correct the sharp move up. And that is correction, which means after the correction, you come back for one more like this. Now, that is if this correction is over. Correction can come back all the way to the top. So the 4 hour, the setup would be, if this consolidate, would be a sell setup here. Okay. It is consolidating, but it's not a complete pattern. As a matter of fact, there should be one more up first. come here, go back up there, and then go for the drop. This would be the flat we'll be looking for to confirm the sell setup here. Right, so once you get that sell setup, you're coming back to retest the lows. XRP, pretty much the same thing. 4 hour, let's see. This one might be heading for the downside already, because if this is real, then this could be heading for the downside already. Bigger picture, this one could go up some more, depending on how you look at it. But right now, this one, if that is real, the first trade should be to the downside. Expect this to pull back, make a flat, and then continue to go up. This one should mostly be consolidation for downside. And ETH consolidation for downside. So I told you about this one. And we tracked this move. The move here was tracking this one for the buy to go back and retest this stop. And then either drop here or consolidate. They consolidate, you make a new high. There's a smaller consolidation here, and then from here, you're expecting it to drop. So this should consolidate and drop back to this level. Maybe break the low and then go back up, because this would become a big flat. If it makes a simple flat correction. If it doesn't make a simple flat correction, which means they're going to be more into it, then you'll probably see them come here and go back up slowly, and come here and go back up slowly, and come here and then probably go. But right now, that's the simplest one. Coming back to retest this level before it goes. Look for sell setups. I think we have a complete pattern at the top. If not, it will probably go up, just retest these tops and then drop. But it looks good for the downside. Dash has a similar one, more downside. This was supposed to go and break, but it went higher and then break. This also looks more downside. This one actually broke, so you will go with this flat. And we made a new high. So let's see where this takes us. You're still in a sideways move. So if they start to drop from this point, it's a good sell. Do we have a drop? Not as yet, but you do have small flags that you can sell, right? These small flags. You can sell them to see until it becomes a very quick drop. Yep, still downside. Downside, this is also consolidating for downside. And the same thing here. Consolidation for downside. Matter of fact, if you get a flag here, this would be a sell. If this gives you a flag here, that'd be a sell setup. So far, most of the cryptos are sell setup for now. Within a correction, it's not totally dropping there, just correcting downwards. After which you're going to be more moved to the upside. So we managed to finish in very close to about an hour. A little more than an hour, probably. So please remember to share it if you like it. I would see my traders in the trading room once I close the room. So I close the room and I come back right back into the trading room. We'll look for trades that are available right now. And then we'll take a break. So I'll close the room, rejoin me in the trading room. See all of you. Thank you very much. Bye.